Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. I know this year they've already confirmed Mick Foley for the WWE Hall of Fame, and as they are putting together their ultimate roster of who is going to be the Hall of Fame class of 2013 at WrestleMania, rumors will fly and names will be named. I've already put one video up saying that Kevin Nash should be one of the inductors that go in, or the inductees. To go into the Hall of Fame this year, but some names on the dirt sheets were announced recently, being King Kong Bundy being one. Bruno Sammartino has been a name that's been floated around for a long time, but the two group names that are out there right now are DX and the Kliq. I can talk about both of these at the same time, why they are bad ideas. My first thing that came to my mind is that wrestlers should be put in singles, as singles guys, or tag teams, before they should be put in as inside a group. Last year was a very, very cool thing to see the Four Horsemen get put into the Hall of Fame. But I think they robbed, especially Arn Anderson, of being put in to the Hall of Fame as a singles guys first. I think you should always make sure if you're going to put guys in as single stars, they should go in that first time, because people's first induction speech is going to be more special than anything else. Arn Anderson was a very special guy to wrestling, and I believe he should have been in there before anybody else. It was real cool to see Ric Flair there. They probably could have worked out some deal for Ric Flair where he could have done the induction speech instead of doing an acceptance speech. So that's my first thing. Now, when you talk about putting in a group like DX, my first thing that comes to my mind is that Triple H is one of the best wrestlers of all time. He's definitely one of my favorite guys. Don't rob him of having a special moment and putting him in like this. Now, when it comes to putting in a group such as the Kliq being from the late 90s, once Hogan and Savage and all them took off, basically the whole show. Before the NWO, there was the Kliq. Basically, maybe you can even say the NWO was a little bit of a take-up on the Kliq. I mean, the main guys were over there in the NWO, but it's probably where the inmates were running the asylum was coming from. The pretty much the whole locker room of WWF at the time was split into two groups. You were either in the Kliq or you weren't. It was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, Six, if you will. Even Pablo Montoya hung out with those guys, just incredible. Or no, it was Aldo Montoya. But they are a special group. But I mean, a lot of those guys, all of those guys. I mean, the only guy in there that you can say is maybe not a Hall of Famer is Sean Waltman. But because what he did to make the little guys believable, I would even have him as a guy in the Hall of Fame someday. Not anytime soon, but I mean, definitely all of these guys, especially Shawn Michaels, since he's already in. Triple H, the headliner that he was. Kevin Nash, for what he did for wrestling. Scott Hall, I don't know. I mean, most wrestling people, if you're not looking on the internet, haven't seen Scott Hall in a long time, and some might even think that he's dead. And when we finally do get to see him on TV make an induction speech, I think it should be, something special, and it shouldn't be something that's in this group thing. It should be definitely a day that he is honored for the work that he did then himself. I think that's a great way to put it instead of what they did back then. Also, when you think about putting the guys in like the Kliq, these guys, you were either with them or you were against them. Like I said, that locker room was pretty hard split. I mean, it took years and years for Brett and Shawn to even be able to be in the same room together to where they can have a handshake. But I mean, they made guys like Lex Luger basically want to leave the WWE. Bam Bigelow has been outspoken against Kliq before his death, big time. He has a whole shoot interview basically just trashing these guys for saying that they're the reasons that WWF was killed off for those few years before they made their hard comeback in the Monday Night Wars. Dean Douglas, Shane Douglas, if you will, pretty much got him fired for saying that he didn't have any wrestling skills. And that's one of the things that you can basically say maybe the Kliq didn't really know what they were doing. Shane Douglas was a really, really great wrestler for ECW, for WCW, definitely had a lot to offer. Maybe the role that he was playing, Dean Douglas, wasn't going to work in the WWF, but I mean, WWF had to get to the point where they acknowledged that, stupid gimmicks weren't needed anymore. You just needed to call a guy by his real name, let him go out there and wrestle, and the guy would have got over. But Shane Douglas had a lot of problems with a lot of people, especially like Ric Flair. So maybe it's not 100% his fault, but I don't know. It definitely would be cool. But I mean, last year when Shawn got put in, we had that special moment when Shawn was inducted by Triple H, and then Kevin Nash and X-Pac were able to come out. We had our little mini Kliq reunion right there. I just don't see there's a place for them being inducted as a group right now, especially because they were never really a group on TV. They were just a group in the locker room that got in Vince's ear and pretty much, you're either with them or against them. If you have a match that's on TV, and they were going to work together, and it was going to be the best match of the night. If you go back and you watch that Raw set from, what's it called? It's called like Raw The Beginning. It's the first 2 seasons of Monday Night Raw, the best of. Basically every good match that is on that DVD involves them. Everything else was just sort of there. But for what they did, I mean, they're definitely Hall of Famers. But they're Hall of Famers on their own. You don't want to rob these guys of their special moments. And I don't know. That's the way I would do it. I put them all in as singles guys over the years and not put them all in as group. That's me. Peace out.